Big exciting news tonight as the Purple Power aligns to understand that whether or not there's a deal reached between Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump, and whether or not there's actually a bill introduced, we have a different focus. Our focus is to give us the sufficient stimulus that we are owed. $2,000 checks from the month of April. It's been 6 months. We haven't gotten anything. We're sitting around, and in an interview today, Nancy Pelosi talked about how she's working on writing the bill tonight that's been sitting around since March, and that you, the American people, should get compensated for what the situation was in March, now in October. That's not sufficient. That's not American. And that's not what we're going to settle for. And this is why you're tuning in to Evenings LALATE. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Evenings LALATE and a big night of refocusing, re-empowerment, and redefining the issues. I'm really excited on a great night of great news that you are tuning in, and I'm very energized, and I hope you are too. Let's go to the front of this channel. Subscribe if you've not. Subscribe because there's a lot of videos in a given day, so I don't want you to miss me, even if you're at the casino. You know, they do have a satellite at the casino, out where the cows range in the front. And also, like this video. In this video, I will be going over those new statements by Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, I'm going to repeat some of her statements because they are actually quite interesting, if they are true, that suggests new optimism for writing a bill and getting it to law in the last 11 days before the election. Boy, it is getting close. But moreover, what I'm going to be talking about additionally is what Biden's talking about tonight, what you should be talking about, and why, as the Purple Power, we should step up and say enough is enough. We demand the amount of stimulus we are owed, and we're not going to sit back and do this piddly game of minuscule checks months later. Let me get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that this is check. This is not Purple Power. It's just coming up after this. But it will be a special 1-hour broadcast of a lot of details, and I'll put the videos closer together so you don't have to wait an hour. That'll show you a lot of details of where we are tonight. Where we are tonight is 6 months since your last stimulus check was owed. Some of you never got that first stimulus check. Those are people who are on SSDI, SSI, and railroad benefits and veterans benefits who are dependents. But some of you did get that first stimulus check. And now, what do these people want to give you? And what do these people want to put to paper? And as legislators, as they say, what are they legislating about? They're legislating about hogwash, is what they're legislating about. A single stimulus check for 6 months of this pandemic. Tonight, the numbers across the country about the number of new COVID-19 cases are not good. And while this is not a health channel, it's certainly an economic channel. It's certainly a stimulus channel. It's certainly a finance channel. And what I can tell you is that you should certainly expect for more lockdowns to be coming right away. And with more lockdowns, more business closures, more shuttering of businesses or restrictions by cities and counties being announced, it means you need more stimulus. We're sitting here in October, and we're talking about the second stimulus package, which, before I continue, let me use that term. Let me go over something which I don't go over a lot in the videos, and you need to understand this right now. This is not the second stimulus package. Oh, no. The first stimulus package was the one with the check. Then after that, there was a few stimulus packages. Yeah, they sent out some money. It wasn't for you. It wasn't for the cows. It wasn't for the casino. It was for who? Big business. Yeah, big business. Oh, those people can get money from banks and get money from the stock exchange. Big business got a lot of money. 2 rounds of money before they came back to you because, that's American. Last night, Donald Trump talked about how this Congress was successful in getting 3 rounds of stimulus done before this one without partisanship. Well, the last 2 was for big business because apparently Congress likes big business and lobbyists. Well, this time it's not big business. Well, even though there is some PPP money in there, this time is for you. And guess what? When they get to you, they have problems getting to your money. The big business has got a lot of money, fortunes, 20 million, 50 million, 60 million. How much money are you getting? How much money they want to give you? And when is this money supposed to cover you for a period of time? And what is this money supposed to function as? Okay, let's back up. This is a stimulus package, and the vast majority of the money in the stimulus package is not for you. And it's not for stimulus, it's for salary raises. So then, could we live with the fact that people are getting money that's not supposed to get money in a stimulus package? Perhaps. If we got all our money, maybe we wouldn't bitch about it. But we are, because when we look to the money you're going to get in this package, there's 2 things happening. 1, we don't know how much it is because they aren't telling us. And 2, the numbers that they have told us in recent days or weeks are not something we're going to accept. So the calling cry for this channel, which I announced, the push of this channel, which I announced a week ago tonight, was MSC, multiple stimulus checks, debuted a week ago tonight, saying, you know what, we're owed multiple stimulus checks. And this thing about giving us a measly $500 check, $1,000 check, $1,200 check to cover us for the last 6 months, and Nancy Pelosi actually has the audacity to say, as a woman, worth of $200-300 million, I'm giving you a check so you can pay your November rent. I'm sorry, honey, that's really patronizing, and it's really sick, because a person who understands you have not got a stimulus check for 6 months is coming forward and saying, I'm going to give you a dangling carrot so you can go pay your rent for the month of November. Oh, that's so nice of you. Where's my check for the month of April? And my check for the month of rent for the month of May and June and July and August and September and October? You know how many viewers of my channel have become homeless because of that type of talk? And so this is not a negative video. Let me detract from that line of talking. Let me focus on us. We're not going to accept that. We're going to straighten our backs, we're going to raise our eyes, and we're going to stand up straight and say, we're not going to sit back as you give us a dangling carrot. And we can call it #MSC, or we can call it a lot of other things. But the bottom line is, tonight, we have renewed optimism because of a couple things that actually work in our benefit. The first one is actually Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's provision or persistence to push back on nearly everything is ironic, because guess what we're going to start doing? Pushing back as well. You don't give us stimulus, we're pushing back. Mitch McConnell's here, he's pushing that way. We're over here, we're pushing that way. How about the White House? Well, the White House has been pushing back with Nancy Pelosi on a lot of provisions, and we learned earlier today from that CNN report that apparently the White House has not agreed to much of what Nancy Pelosi has been talking about, has not agreed about FPUC, has not agreed about state and local, may not have even agreed about stimulus checks. So guess what? We're not agreeing on it either. Now, how does this play out, and how does this work? And how much stimulus checks could you get? And where would the stimulus checks come, and how does this work with executive orders? Let me go over all these details. First, there's 2 paths. There's clearly 2 paths. There's a guy who's a president, and he's a president now, and he's a president all the way to December, certainly. But his time to do stuff is really narrowly focused on the next, 11 days now before the election? He's there. Then you have the legislature. They can do stuff. They are, they're there to December. Whether they're going to do something after election night, we don't know. And then we have all this uncertainty about what happens on January 1st. Do we have a new House? Do we have a new Senate? Do we have a new president? Ultimately, we have 2 paths, and the 2 paths we're going to focus on right now, and we have not changed on, are executive orders and pushing to get this group over here, these nincompoops, on focus. The president needs to understand tonight that the situation is not going to go in his favor if he does nothing. If you did not see the new statement issued out minutes ago by the Biden camp, it is a very long plan. It's pages and pages long, which I'm not going to go over in this video. I'm just going to give you highlights. That Biden is announcing a national plan to deal with COVID-19 that will require masks, for example. Biden would go to every governor and ask them to impose a mandate on masks. If governors refuse, and they have several in states, Biden would say he would turn to local officials. He said he would mandate masks in all federal buildings and all interstate transportation. Okay, what Biden is doing is with the last 11 days before the election, he's trying to say, hey, there's two major issues, COVID and stimulus. Guess which one he's not talking about? Yeah, he's not talking about stimulus. So he's talking about the other one. And so by talking with the other one, he's pushing the narrative to the final stretch, to the final finish line. And he's ahead. Then on the other side is the president. What's the president talking about? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know what he's talking about. He has been the economic president. He has been the economy president. He's been the trade president. He has been the Make America Better president. He's been the jobs president. Well, now's your hour. Now's your hour, Mr. President, to do executive orders. You see Joe Biden is going for COVID. Joe Biden is announcing a plan. You have to announce a plan. Simply announcing that Nancy Pelosi is to blame is not a plan. If you watched what happened today, this afternoon, it showed that the president has really not grasped the situation. He sat in the White House, in the Oval Office with Steve Mnuchin and had a press conference saying how Nancy Pelosi is to blame. I'm sorry, that's not going to work to get you reelected. You have to figure out another path, because ultimately, just saying I'm going to blame someone can get me reelected, that's not works. That's what works when you're a contender. The guy who's in office is not really good because he's not doing this. I blame him for this. Okay, you're in charge, you're the executive chief. It's your job to do something. As you sit here tonight, how much stimulus could you get? Where could you get it? And how would you get it? Let's go to it right now. Stay with me at the 11-minute mark. I have a lot of stuff coming up. First, the amount of stimulus you should demand is upwards of $4,000 per check. You should be demanding $4,000 per check on Twitter because that's how much you're owed. What's important to understand is that's your money. What's important to understand, you're owed $4,000. You're actually owed a lot more money than that. You're owed about $12,000. It's been 6 months. It's been 6 months since you got your last stimulus check. We're now in October. 6 months is not $500. And so if you look at the numbers, well, how much should you ask? And how much should you demand? And how much should you push back? Understand these are people spending a lot of money on everyone else except you. They're spending fortunes on salary raises for federal government officials. They're spending a lot of money on big business, a lot of money on state and local. But when it comes to you, how much do they want to give you? $500? $500, $1,000, $1,200, when you're owed thousands and thousands of dollars. So Purple Power, push, push, push. This is the time and place. You should demand the money and should make it very loud and clear. Now, what's important to understand is when you can get this money and how you can get this money. First, executive orders. We all understand the path and manner in which the executive orders really needs to ramp up in the last week or so before the election because the president doesn't have a message. He does not have a message. Joe Biden's message tonight is mass. The president's message is, as the president falls behind the polls, is trying to gain speed. It's picked up 1 percentage point in the last week. The question is whether he's going to get on message and do executive orders. But in the event that the president doesn't do executive orders, in the event that the president just wants to lose and loses the presidency, well, then what happens to us the day after the election? That's why the push and the messaging for us is unchanged. What's brilliant about this is that our message is unchanged despite who's ever in the White House. If President Trump's in the White House, if Joe Biden's in the White House, if the House goes Senate, if the House goes Democratic, if the Senate goes Republican, if the Senate goes Democratic, the messaging is the same. You're owed more stimulus, demand more stimulus, and say, hey, you're writing the bill. You're drafting the bill. Haven't come up to an agreement on what's in the bill. So guess what? While you're writing the bill, add an extra zero in there. Add an extra $1,000. Raise it up. Demand more money. That's the focus of the Purple Power. That's the focus of this channel. Tonight, Joe Biden is trying to do a lot of stuff. But what is President Trump trying to do? Meantime, Nancy Pelosi gave an interview overnight, and that interview to today to Greg Milvin, and that interview was actually quite strange. That's why I want to refer to it, not because there's a lot of fake narrative, but it's actually quite strange. She says, she was asked 11 days until the end of voting, are we going to get a new stimulus bill? She says, I would hope so. And the fact is that the president has been back and forth, stop the negotiations. Oh, I want more money than Nancy. Oh, I hope she agrees with me. But he has to talk to the Senate Republicans. Let me just say, it relates to the then she just sort of goes on and on and on and on. But what she claims is that the president wants a bill, that she wants a bill, and that, oh, here it is. I think that the president wants a bill. I really do. This is Nancy Pelosi speaking. Why would he even be talking to each other? Why would we even be this? It's like we have shared values or anything. This is negotiation. I have every reason to believe it's been professional, it's been organized, and we have to compare language to the rest and go back and forth. It could be very close. So as I said, we're very close to put pen to paper. So she says that the president wants a bill. She says she wants a bill. The question is when they would have a bill. The point is not the bill or when the bill or how the bill. The point is you're pushing to what goes in the bill. Let me turn to some of the incredible comments from last night, and they were incredible. Tamara Young, the debate is a mess. Why can't anyone just answer the questions? Danny Ray, why don't you run for Nancy Pelosi's job? I'm sure you would win and by a landslide and do 1,000 times better. I would. I really appreciate that. Unfortunately, I don't live in San Francisco. Pamela Barber, Trump do executive order. Diana White, it's a joke, and these two kids are a bunch of kids. These two people are a bunch of kids. Eddie Johnson, we need executive orders ASAP for bigger stimulus checks. Stephanie Brown, either do a vote or an executive order. We can't wait any longer. Stephanie Brown, $4,000 for stimulus checks. Renee Brown, hey, Purple Power family. Hope everything is well. I hope you're good too. Kelly Hux, unfortunately, they're really too busy at each other. Brian Kelly, executive orders or not. Michelle Freed, it's Real Housewives of Congress. When are they going to get this bill done? I don't have a bill. Wait, I have a plan. Wait, the question is, what's your plan? I love that. If you have questions for tonight's video, go to the front of this channel, subscribe. Subscribe because we're going to get through this together, and we're going to get to the finish line eventually. And I forgot the fingers. Sorry, the finger's a little too late. So let's try that again. Subscribe. And also like this video. Coming up next is Purple Power. Whether it be tonight or it be on tomorrow morning's broadcast, I'm going to decide shortly. It may move. Exciting. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay at LA for more.